Okay, so it looks like I have everybody in from the waiting room for now. And certainly as your colleagues come in, we can let them in, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time. And I want to make sure that we dive right into this conversation. So welcome, everyone. Again, you've heard me say it before. Congratulations on your acceptance to Delaware Law School. We're really looking forward to welcoming you to campus in August. Um, Tonight's a really important conversation as you're preparing for August, right? We're here tonight to talk about financing your legal education. I'm really grateful to be joined here tonight by our Director of Financial Aid, Eleanor Kelly, who has some prepared remarks and slides, and then we're going to open things up to Q&A. We are going to be recording the presentation part of this program. And then we will take the recording off as we move into the Q&A section, just so we can make sure that all of your questions get answered. And so when we get to that point, please feel free to use the raise hand function. You can certainly use the chat function and I can facilitate that. Or just unmute and jump in and we can make sure, like I said, we get all of your questions answered. So with that, I want to turn things over now to Eleanor Kelly to get us started.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to welcome you to this session on financing your legal education. It's an important topic. It's one that we're hoping that you take good information away from. I do have a prepared presentation that I'm going to go through pretty quickly in order to answer as many questions as you might have. When we do get to the question and answer section, if you could please ask your question, but don't put any personal information into the question. Okay. We want to be respectful of everyone and we don't want you to overshare. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. And there we go. And we are going to, it would be nice if I had started the slideshow. There we go. From the beginning. Okay, so I'm Eleanor Kelly. I'm the Director of Financial Aid. In my office, we also have Turquoise Greenwich Granette, who is the Assistant Director of Financial Aid, and Vicki Peters, who has been answering most of your phone calls when you call in, and she manages our student employment and our general front end questions. Okay. Big question is here. Congratulations on your acceptance to law school, but how do you pay for it? The good news is that there is money available to help pay for law school. The bad news is it is likely to include loans that have to be repaid. There are several sources of funding that students use in order to finance their legal education. The first is Delaware Law School itself, the federal government, outside organizations, your own resources, and then private lenders. Delaware Law School offers a merit-based scholarship program. It's intended to reward the many and distinctive academic, personal, and professional accomplishments of our incoming students. If you are being offered a merit-based scholarship, it would have been included with your acceptance packet, so you are already aware of the amount and the terms and conditions of that award. It is renewable for up to 3 years for full-time for our regular division students and 4 years for our extended division students, provided that you maintain satisfactory academic performance, which is a 2.0 cumulative grade point average or better. We also offer a Widener Scholar Loan Program to our upperclassmen. That is the opportunity to borrow a private loan through Widener's Scholar Loan Program, which is awarded on first year, based on first year academic performance. No interest accrues on this loan while a student is in school and for the 6-month grace period. And then there is a 5% interest rate that accrues during repayment. In addition, we have several donor scholarships that are available to students, mainly upperclassmen. These are funds that have been donated by friends or alumni of the law school and have a specific criteria, usually designated by the donor. Some opportunities include if you have a specific interest or excellence in constitutional law, if you are interested in doing pro bono work, if you have done some community service, those opportunities will be provided to you in the spring, every spring. And you'll be sent the link to look at the criteria and make an application. In addition, we do offer several fellowship programs, including the Walcott, the SMUTS, the Domestic Violent Research and Advocacy Fellowships. Information about those are shared on our website. And we do participate in the Yellow Ribbon Program for veterans. Veterans who are eligible for post 9/11 education benefits at 100% will pay zero out-of-pocket tuition expenses. The federal government is the single or largest, I should say, federal financing option for students. Professional students can borrow up to $50,000, depending on prior borrowing and your cost of attendance. The federal direct unsubsidized loan does not require a credit check. The interest for the 26-27 academic year is 8.07%. Interest does accrue on the loan from the date of disbursement. The loan carries a 6-month grace period, and the repayment term is 10 years, but there are options to extend the term available depending on your level of borrowing. The lender is the federal government. So beginning as of July 1, professional students, law students, can borrow up to a maximum amount of $50,000 per academic year, provided that there is room in their cost of attendance to borrow that much. The maximum aggregate loan limit for a law student is $200,000 minus any loan debt borrowed from other graduate loans, other graduate programs. Note, these federal regulations do not go into effect until July 1, 2026, which is why, as many of you have asked, why you haven't seen your loans on your accounts yet. And that's because the federal government is working on updating regulations that were signed into law last July 4th in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act contains significant changes to the federal loan programs, most of which become effective for periods of enrollment after July 1. The Department of Education is currently updating their software, as are we, to support these changes. Since the loan limit does not go into effect until after July 1, we've been unable to actually process loans for first-year students who are eligible for those new loan limits. Other sources of financial aid are outside organizations who may offer scholarship, grant, or fellowship opportunities. There is a link here, and it's available on our website as well, to the Access Select Scholarship Data Bank. This is a data bank that is provided by Access Select, a nonprofit organization that we work closely with. It is only for law students or law graduates, and it's certainly something to take a look at if you're interested in trying to obtain additional resources. A third, fifth, I can't remember which, option is private lenders. Private education loans differ from the federal direct unsubsidized loan in several ways. First of all, there's a credit check required. Private education lenders will approve students to borrow through their programs based on a variety of factors, but good credit is key to being approved. Typically, students with or without good credit have a better chance of being approved with a credit-worthy cosigner. And students should pay careful attention to the loan terms, including interest rates, repayment options, and prepayment penalties. A student may not borrow a private education loan for more than the cost of attendance. We do not, Widener University, Delaware Law Schools, does not endorse or recommend private education loan lenders. You may choose from any private loan lender that you would like to if you are planning on borrowing from one. We do have a resource for you, however. To assist you with your research, Access Select Institute has provided a resource called the Access Select Private Loan Exchange as a resource when doing for law students to use when evaluating if they want to borrow through a private lender. This link is available on our website, as is the link to another publication that they use called the Guide to Private Student Loans. How you apply for federal financial aid is you complete the FAFSA, which is available at studentaid.gov. This determines your eligibility for federal financial aid, and it also checks other databases for verification of citizenship, prior federal loan borrowing, and overall federal loan debt. In addition, we ask you to complete our Delaware Law incoming JD data form, which is available on our website. This tells us if you do plan to borrow a federal direct unsubsidized loan and how much you would like to borrow. Many of you have already completed it, some have not. How you can know if you completed it or not is in the My Widener portal. There's a financial aid section. The financial aid section contains a financial aid checklist. If your checklist is not complete, then you have not completed a Delaware Law data form. In addition, if you're borrowing through the federal loan program, you'll have to complete an MPN, which is a master promissory note. That is available at studentaid.gov as well. You will not indicate an amount on the MPN. The MPN is a serial promissory note. You will indicate an amount on the Delaware Law data form. You can indicate maximum, or you can indicate that you wish to borrow less than the maximum. If you have already submitted your Delaware Law data form and you may have checked maximum because you were not sure what resources that you had in addition to help you finance your legal education, you can certainly request a lower loan amount by emailing us at our office account, including your full name and ID number from your Widener email account, and indicating the amount of loan that you would like to borrow. How much financial aid can you have? Okay, so we are charged with, the financial aid office is charged with developing a cost of attendance. The cost of attendance includes tuition, fees, books, and living expenses for 9 months. A student cannot have more financial aid, scholarships, grants, or loans than the cost of attendance. Our cost of attendance is available on our website. Cost of attendance is not how much you need to have, but is how much what the limit is. You're going to want to evaluate your own budget, determine if you have other resources you can help to pay for some expenses. And if you are borrowing loan, your lifestyle choices will help determine your level of borrowing. This chart shows you cost of attendance for our regular division students off campus or commuting from a parent's home. Tuition is charged on a per credit basis. Tuition charge is $1,999 per credit hour. Regular division students will take 31 credits in their first year. You don't have to worry about that. The faculty has already kindly decided that for you. There are $718 in university fees. The remainder are not your fixed costs or your direct costs. The remainder constitute living expenses. Books, food and housing, personal transportation, and loan fees are all included in the cost of attendance. The cost of attendance for an extended division student, which is a student in our evening program, they will take 23 credits, 12 credits for the fall, 11 credits for the spring, and their cost of attendance is demonstrated is right there. Again, these are both on our website. So in order to minimize borrowing, you want to understand the difference between the cost of attendance and your tuition bill. The bill is your tuition and fee charges, plus if you are living on campus, the on-campus housing fee. You are going to want to develop a student budget and start living like a law student now. Another way to minimize borrowing can be to plan to live on campus or with a roommate. And lastly, another way to minimize borrowing is to pay off any consumer loan debt consumer debt that you have prior to starting law school. I know this is tiny. What this is a financial aid worksheet. We use this in the financial aid office to help illustrate to a student the difference between direct and indirect expenses and what their financial aid will cover. So this is just an example of a financial aid worksheet of someone that has a regular division student that has a $26,000 scholarship and is planning to borrow $40,000 in a federal direct unsubsidized loan. You can see that their fixed costs would be $32,343 for the fall. And after financial aid is applied, they would cover their tuition and have a refund of $846 for the fall. Now, in the spring, a student is going to be taking 15 credits. Their direct expenses are going to be $30,344 minus their scholarship aid and minus the second half of their loan dispersed in the spring, would result in a refund or excess loan funds of $2,445. If the student decided to borrow the full $50,000, then anything over and above that would be dispersed to the student for living expenses. Okay, so many of you have already applied for federal financial aid, and if you haven't done so, you want to do your FAFSA now. You want to fill out the Delaware Law data form if you haven't already done it. Here's the big question that we're hearing time and time again from students. How and when will I get my award letter offer? When is going to be as quickly as we can make them available. And because of the changes to the loan program, we have not been able to post loans because, again, the amount is not available until after July 1. The only thing we could put on a financial aid award letter would be the scholarship, and you have already been informed if you were receiving one. We will get the award letter offers up as quickly as we can. They will be posted to the My Widener portal, and you will receive an email with a link to access the award letter offer and other important financial aid information. Another question we have been receiving quite a lot lately is, where is my bill? Right now, your bill is not available yet because the registrar's office is working on registering first-year students. Once those classes are registered, then the charges will be pulled over, and you will get an email with a link to your e-bill to your Widener email account. You'll be able to access the bill electronically through the My Widener portal into the MetaPay account, which is our third-party servicer that we use. Okay, a couple of questions that I wanted to point out now is frequently asked question is, I checked the My Widener site and it says I'm missing a FAFSA, but I know I did my FAFSA weeks and weeks ago. Why isn't it there? Well, there could be two reasons it's not there. One, the FAFSA doesn't have our school code on it. The second is what we are running into a little more frequently is that some students may have chosen to omit their social security number on their LSAC application when you did your law school application. The social security number is the key to us being able to access your FAFSA. So if you know that you did not provide your social security number on your LSAC application, then you're going to need to contact admissions in order to provide it to them so we can then link or find your FAFSA. Okay. Now, if you're looking at it and you did your FAFSA an hour and a half ago, it's not going to be there. Okay. It usually takes us about a week to get them in. But if you do know that you provided your social security number when you did your application and you still did your FAFSA a long time ago, contact our office and we'll investigate it further. But that has been one of a stumbling block to some students who have quite rightly keeping their personal information personal, but unfortunately, that is what the FAFSA uses as a key to find you in our system. The other question we're getting from students is some students have completed Graduate Plus applications, Graduate Plus loan applications. The Graduate Plus loan is not available to incoming professional students. So what will happen if you did do a Graduate Plus loan? Nothing, because the program's not available any longer after July 1 to students entering a new program. If you did it just because it was there to do, don't worry about it. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to get processed. You don't have to tell us that you don't want it because we can't process it for you. Now open if anybody has any questions in the chat or wants to just raise their hand. I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eleanor. That's great information. And certainly, if anyone wants to put a question in the chat, I'm happy to field that and throw it to Eleanor. You can also use the raise hand function, but we wanted to leave plenty of time here for questions that you all had, so that you get the information that you need. And with that, I am going to stop the recording. So hopefully that encourages folks to unmute and join. Because again, we're really here to make sure that you have all the information that you need about financing your legal education. One thing I will say before I do take the recording off, just for the benefit of everyone, is these slides, this recording will be posted on our Accepted Applicant Events page. So if you want to come revisit some of the things that were mentioned or come revisit the slides, it will be posted there. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that you can access this again. So with that, we will open it up for questions.